Okay, so this is Ringwalk Media in association with Welleyes Therapy, Still Hub Management and Barclay Carter Racing. We've got the governor, Ben Shalom. It's really good to see you on a great fight week.
Very good to see you. Very good to be here. Very excited. This is like, as a fan, I'd love to be here even as a fan. This is an incredible show. Some crazy fights, some crazy characters on the card as well. Can't wait.
We can't, and we were just saying before, this is probably the best card that Boxxer and Sky have put on that's free.
Exactly. I think outside of pay-per-view, it's rare to get a show this big. It's a big show. It's an expensive show. It's a huge heavyweight fight to top it. It's got some superstars on the undercard, some 50-50 great fights on the card as well. It's got everything. So I think from the first bell, it's one of those cards, and it is rare that you get a card that you have to watch from the first bell to the end. And it's an Easter Sunday treat, and I can't wait.
Well, let's talk about the lower end of the card. Babic and Robinson. I mean, that's not going to be a technical boxing fight, is it?
No, and I think it's good to see Babic back, Alan the Savage back in the heavyweight division, where he's never lost. He's coming in at 6'1" against Steve, who we know well at 6'7", who always, both of them wear their heart on their sleeve. They're both going to give absolutely everything. And it is going to be a very, very, it's hard to describe. What you know is it's going to be carnage from round one. Like they know no other way.
It's not going very far, that fight.
And God knows what will be going on in that ring. But it's going to be fun, and what a way to start. And boxing's about entertainment, and to start a show with that sort of fight and the entertainment that will bring. Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to that fight. I think it's fucking brilliant, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, we've got a couple of other good fights on the card, of course. One, he's standing next to you, actually. Ben Whittaker versus Leon Willings. Ben Whittaker, the superstar, the Olympian, but taking a little step up against Leon. Leon's a Central Area champion, very tough, and also in very good form at the moment.
Well, listen, I saw your interview with him actually, which was good. It gave me a little bit of background. Obviously, we've been watching Leon, especially since he won the Central Area, and to be fair, he's been calling for this fight. And you always look up when someone's calling for it. They've obviously got a lot of self-confidence. We've gone back and watched his fights. He can fight. And he looks like he's a tough kid as well. And he's coming in with a lot of confidence. And I know from speaking to Callum Simpson, who's been sparring him, he's a good fighter and he's a real fighter. And so it's probably going to be Ben Whittaker's biggest test today. It'll be interesting to see how he copes with it. And so credit to Leon. It's what we want to see, especially British fighters. You know, a lot of British fighters don't want to fight Ben Whittaker. And so to be able to get Leon Willings in there, I think it's a great start to the show, and it will be a fantastic fight.
Do you think now that Ben's got a little bit more of a test that we'll see some more skill sets that we haven't seen so far?
Maybe. I think he's never been put under real pressure yet, but he's shown us a lot, and there's so many levels with Ben. I have to say, I just think he's a phenomenal talent, phenomenal athlete. I think he's going to go right to the very, very top. He's an elite fighter, so. You know, of course, I expect him to deal with Leon Willings, but let's see how he performs.
And the main event, Wardley and Clarke. We were saying before, we're quite glad it actually kind of took a little bit longer to get that fight because they're both probably now in the right space for that fight.
I think so. I mean, there's still question marks as to whether Fraser's had enough experience in the professional game to be ready for a test like this. But at least now it feels the right time. It feels like Fraser can take on this fight. Still becomes the fastest British heavyweight champion of all time if he can win. And then Fabio is even more ready. You know, that win out in Saudi against Adelaide looks extremely accomplished, didn't he? So it's a big fight. I think both fighters are delighted at the timing and obviously the money that they're earning for a big show like this at the O2. It's one of the biggest British titles of all time. We sold 13,000 tickets already in the O2. Didn't expect that, if I'm honest, but it shows the public have bought into this fight and bought into this narrative of the Olympian against the white collar fighter, of the purse bid scenario and the situation that all went on there. It's all added to it. And now it's here, and it's a great fight to be putting on. And as a fan, as I say, these are the fights you want to go and see, and I can't wait for that.
As a promoter of a card like this, you must be really proud of your team and the way that things have worked out this week.
I think so. Look, we put on plenty of big shows, but if you look at this card, it's the fighters that we've started with. And so to be able to put on a card like this with fighters that we developed with is a new thing for us. You know, at the start we had Josh Taylors and Chris Eubank Jr. and Amir Khan, not fighters that we'd been involved with, but we needed them to put on the big shows. But now, Fraser Clarke debuted with us, Ben Whittaker debuted with us, Callum Simpson's been with us, Florian Mark has been with us for years, you know. Vidal Riley debuted came after it for 3 fights. So it's all fighters that we've built. We've finally got to the point where they're taking on the biggest tests of their career. We finally get to the point where they can stand on their own 2 feet, and that was always going to be a journey. And so it does feel like the start of our fighters now taking the mantelpiece, now headlining shows, now being able to sell out arenas like this. And that's the proudest thing I think about it.
Time's tight. I've got 2 more questions for you, if that's all right. Callum Simpson, I mean, the world beater, he's back. He's got a very tough fight, but some would say it's kind of a warm-up fight for that British title against Zach Shelley.
Yeah, I think he just wants to make a statement. He's been out for a while, frustratingly, and he's an absolute character and a superstar, and I really believe that. When we got him, it was almost like a diamond in the rough, and he's performed unbelievably since. And I think the dream for us, he's got a travelling load of fans coming down from Barnsley, and the key is to get him there. He's got his eyes on that British title with Zach Shelley. He wants to prove that he's the best in this country, and he's got to make a statement on Sunday night. But yeah, I think Callum is one of those that I think the whole of British boxing has to watch. We talk about Ben Whittaker and the Fraser Clarks and the Caroline Dubois, and obviously Lauren Price getting her chance now, but Callum's got it. He really does, and I think he's going to be a star that headlines in his own right, that will be headlining shows for years to come, and I want to see him make a statement on Sunday.
You sort of half nicked my next question, which is Lauren Price. She got an opportunity against mckaskill. I was a little surprised that maybe that wasn't Natasha Jonas, but just tell us about that situation.
Well, Natasha Jonas has fought for a world title 5 times in a row, or we've got 5 different world titles. And it got to the point where we've got a big fight lined up for Tasha, and Lauren Price needed to fight for a world title. It was simple as that. You know, she has not lost a round in the professional ranks. I can't see her losing a round for a long time. And at the point you're faced at a crossroads with someone like Lauren, where she needs a big test. Jessica mckaskill is a huge test, and I'm glad that we're taking this early, because I do think that even in 3 or 4 fights time, it could be a foregone conclusion. But the interesting thing about this is, can Jessica catch Lauren cold? Can she make up for her experience? You know, she's a very aggressive fighter. We know what's going to come at Lauren. Lauren's never been put under pressure, probably never been really hit properly, and she's going to feel that. And it's a huge test in Cardiff. It's sold extremely well. I would have to say, I didn't expect Lauren Price to be such a big ticket seller, but it shows how much Cardiff and Wales are proud of her. And yeah, it's quite a special thing going on in Cardiff right now, where I think they feel like they could have a new star there, and she's definitely, probably in our top 2 or 3 biggest ticket sellers in the entire stable. That arena's going to be full on May the 11th, and she deserves it, because she wants to break records in the professional game. She's done it her whole life, and now it's time to do it in the professional ranks.
I'll be cheeky here, because you mentioned a big fight for Natasha Jonas. Can you tell us anything?
Look, I think
Katie Taylor, maybe.
We're negotiating at the moment. She's desperate to fight quickly, and so we're trying to make it happen. I don't want to say too much, just because I'm desperate to see it get over the line. But yeah, hopefully have some news next week.
Well, listen, we appreciate your time as always, mate. A cracking week ahead, and thank you very much, Ben Shalom.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.